And again, this is our Thursday night product information call here with Visi, and our host speaker tonight is Dr. Charlie Rouse. He is our first medical advisor here with Visi, and Dr. Rouse is a pharmacist. He is a doctor of natural medicine, and he's had plenty of years of doing research on natural ingredients and just really working with people on a lot of different condition-specific areas. And so that's why we picked the topic tonight, Syndrome X. A couple of years ago, I had never heard of this topic. It's just fascinating to me. There are so many people that are affected by this. I think in one of the reports that Dr. Rouse wrote, he mentioned on there that this is something that is softly killing people. And there are so many millions of people that are fighting this, and they don't realize that it can be reversed, and it's something that will definitely affect your weight loss and whether you lose weight effectively. And so this is definitely something that people need to get under control, and it's a topic that we wanted to share with you tonight. So again, Dr. Charlie Rouse, our medical advisor here with Visi, pharmacist and doctor of natural medicine. Dr. Rouse, I guess I'll go ahead and turn this over to you.
Thank you, Gloria. And there's that big X again. You know, when we're talking over 25 years ago, Stanford University was doing major research on type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular deaths and difficulties with different cholesterol and triglyceride issues, and they came to a conclusion that this is worldwide. This is very major stuff. So let's slip over to the next slide and just see where we're heading. There's the scary statistics. More than 70 million Americans tonight have metabolic syndrome X, and they don't. Most of them have no idea. But the variables, the syndrome X is a catchphrase for a lot of medical maladies. It started hitting the baby boomers very heavy because of their lifestyle, their junk food habits, things that come out of a box, things that are sugary, things that are high fat. All those things started slamming the baby boomers. We noticed that the omentum, the belly fat, was protruding. Everybody was overlapping the belt buckle. Everybody was looking for an excuse to say, bigger britches or help me lose it. And when they got down to it, doctors were absolutely astounded at how many 40-year-old baby boomers were having type 2 diabetes that usually did not precipitate or show up until people in our generation before us, age 65, 70, 75, 80. So looking at it statistically, it was a mess for people to be abdominally obese, but when they started measuring the cardiovascular risk, they all had common denominators. Their cholesterol was astronomically high. Their VLDL, the very low, and the LDL, those that are called bad cholesterol. And when they started measuring the triglycerides, lo and behold, they were all coming in at 150 or up, way up there, so high that it was a danger zone for the pancreas. Pancreatitis is a debilitating disease. And here we were looking at baby boomers with high cholesterol, high triglyceride. The sphygmometer would go over there, measure their systolic and diastolic blood pressure. Nobody was coming in. Everybody was 150 and up, way over 90 on the bottom registry. High blood pressure for sure. Then the industry knew that good cholesterol, the HDL, needed to be at least 50 for anybody to be heart healthy. And these folks were way down in the 30 zone, way below normal. They measured their uric acid gouty level. Sure enough, inflammation in the toes, the elbows, the fingers. We're talking about 40-year-old young'uns. And they said, well, what are we going to do? Well, what do they usually do? If you go to the doctor today and you had high blood pressure and high cholesterol, and you've been told to walk it off, change your diet, and reverse it, and you didn't, and you went back in another 90 days and your blood pressure was still up and your cholesterol was still up, what does the average American MD do? They put you on a blood pressure pill, and they put you on a cholesterol-lowering agent, a statin drug. That's standard American medicine. And they're doing it to try to bring things down. But when you look at it, if you look at that slide, all of those things, those variables, are connected and linked by a major bottom root cause problem: insulin. Insulin has become resistant. These little fat cells can become so engorged and so full of fat, and when they start spitting out triglycerides and the sugar balance gets out of whack and the insulin pumps more insulin, the muscle cells that are designed in your human body to be the first and the foremost to give you energy and to burn down sugar, glucose, those things become stubborn, absolutely rebellious, and they will not talk nor listen to the insulin, not one iota. So the muscle cells become insulin resistant. Up goes blood pressure, up goes cholesterol, up goes triglyceride, up goes the uric acid levels. Now, go back to the scenario. You're in the doctor's office, 90 days into therapy, nobody's gotten better, so here we go. The doctor writes out a statin drug and a high blood pressure pill. What's wrong with that? Well, the root cause has not been issued nor addressed. See, you're treating symptomatics. Hey, if you were a cook and you were cooking a pot of rice on your stove tonight, and you turned your back watching something on TV, and when you turn back around, the rice is boiling over onto the stove, what are your two options? One, you can grab a lid very quickly and put it on the boiling water and simmer things down. Or you could turn the heat down on the stove and solve the root problem. Well, the prescription drugs, the blood pressure pill and the cholesterol pill, are the lid on the pot. They are only treating symptomatics. But what we're going to talk about tonight is somebody needs to do something and turn the heat down. So we're going at the root problem. What's the root problem of Syndrome X? How are we going to address this belly fat, this blood pressure issue, this fatty stuff in the blood called cholesterol or triglyceride? How are we going to lower out the uric acid levels? Are we going to give them? Are we going to pull out colchicine or give them another pill? Are we going to give them allopurinol because they've got high uric acid? Oh, there's another lid on the pot. Well, you see, what happens is that if you don't address those issues, then you're precipitating all kinds of cardiovascular problems. They're so much higher prone to blood clots and fatty livers and inflammation, high C-reactive protein, homocysteine, all that. And if your body gets turned into a Syndrome X mess, you're prone to cardiovascular risk, and unfortunately, even cancer can begin to bring on a mess. So as we go to the next slide, what we're going to find out is, the human body simply is not designed by the Creator God to handle the amount of refined sugars, salts, saturated fats that most people are consuming. We've got to become cognitively aware of what we're doing. We've even been told by dietitians and nutritionists and physicians that whole wheat bread is a good, healthy alternative. Unfortunately, many doctors and even nutritionists don't look at it from a Syndrome X quagmire. We got a conundrum here. Do you know that 2 pieces of whole wheat bread that everybody tells you is healthy is equal to 1 Snicker bar? 1 Snicker bar in relationship to raising your body's propensity to insulin resistance. Your muscle cells will become very stubbornly resistant to insulin and will not burn down glucose and will allow your body to produce more insulin, which now causes a cyclic effect, which causes a mean, vicious syndrome called Syndrome X. And unfortunately, other people have been told that it's better to eat more frequently, 4, 5, 6 times a day. Absolutely incorrect, because whenever you eat, most of the time you snack, and too frequently to do that again and again and again turns the liver into a relentless fat-secreting machines. When your body continually blip, insulin, blip, insulin, blip, it goes into a conniption fit, and it allows triglycerides. The triglyceride, that's a sugar stuck to a fat, to escape. And lo and behold, the fat begins to leak out. The triglycerides send erroneous signals to the cell structure, and the muscle cells become insulin resistant. And unfortunately, when the sugars are imbibed in whatever it is, whether it's in cereal, whether it's in crackers, whether it's in bread, whether it's in sweets, whether it's in junk, the insulin is pumped into the bloodstream. And that, when insulin is now in the blood, it stops the liver from releasing fat, and therefore the cells become more engorged, more fatty. And a fatty liver is a major detriment to good blood pressure, good cholesterol, good uric acid. And when those cells are spewing out all this gunk and all this junk, we are actually killing the pancreatic cells, the islet of Langerhans cells in the pancreas. And unfortunately, these Syndrome X patients are not going to be able to be helped with metformin or other simple swallow-me pills for diabetes. They're going to actually have to be injected with insulin. So it's a very serious condition, Syndrome X. And for most people, watching their diet is the only step needed to regulate their blood sugars. You get off of wheat, W-H-E-A-T, eat more of the wholesome grains, go more in the rice grain, the oat grain, get totally away from wheat. Wheat has been GMO'd. It's been so genetically modified that the human body has no respect for it. And insulin resistance is a major problem from every wheat product, whether it's in a cracker, a cereal, a slice of bread, wheresoever. And going gluten-free, the technology is becoming easy to understand. The word gluten-free means wheat-free. So there you can go to a Walmart and find all kind of gluten-free stuff. But don't just say because it's gluten-free, it's sugar-free, because we're still dealing in major problems. So we come over here and we're looking now at sugar, fructose. And woo, this is the enemy, fructose. It is in so many juices and so many fixes. Fructose is not good for you. And the sugary foods, sucrose, which is just simple sugar, the refined sugar, it's half fructose, half glucose. But what's really worse is the soda pop industry, the ketchup industry, the ice cream industry, the cookie industry. They took it one step further to the worst of worst. They now take the corn and they high fructose it. It's like fructose double, and it is terrible for insulin resistance. If you add all the fast release carbohydrates that provoke insulin rush to the scenario, and on an average day, between what people have eaten in the bread industry and the snack industry and the sweet industry and the juice industry, it's unreal. And because insulin resistance is causing all of this, the root cause, the bottom line, fructose is going to mimic insulin secretion. So whatever food, a smidgen or a tad, when it has fructose added unto it, it's going to promote insulin resistance in the muscle cells. But what about natural fructose, Dr. Charlie? Well, fruits and vegetables are fine and dandy because they only have small amounts of fructose, and the fructose is always bound by God with a special fiber that he builds into the fruit and the vegetable, so they're not unhealthy. We're just talking about man-made foods that we sweeten out the kazoo to try to get things done. So fructose, if you look on your peanut butter or your ketchup or your jelly or your jam or any other food product in your shelf, if it has the word fructose, ditch it. It's causing insulin resistance. So as we flip to the next slide, we're moving on and we're saying, well, give me an overview again. What is insulin? Insulin by itself is a fat storage hormone. So please don't let insulin be overproductive. Please don't let insulin be swimming around and riding around and not burning up glucose, energy, fat, and etc., because it'll store fat. And the resistance is causing a major syndrome factor. Body tissue forms a mutiny against the commands of insulin. Insulin tries to do its work. The muscle cell says no. Fat gets stored, particularly in the liver, which is the worst place because you need the liver to do the detoxification. And when that stuff starts floating, it goes over from the liver chamber to the kidney chamber. And when you start losing kidney function and liver function, you're in a mess. Now we got all this stuff, triglyceride, which is sugar stuck to fat, floating around in the blood. And when this sugar starts browning, it's called a browning effect. It's called glycation. It starts rusting, if you will. Sugar, instead of being white, turns brown. And when sugar gets stuck to a protein and starts glycating, these are called advanced glycated end products, AGE. That spells age with a capital letter A. You are now aging much faster than your chronological age factor. You could be 60, but you may be actually 80 internally. And the actions of insulin are designed to metabolize sugar, keep the hormones happy, do the metabolism fact that needs to be done, and build back good tissue repair. Well, let me tell you what's happened in America in the last 10 years. The school systems have been feeding our kids some of the worst food imaginable. When they get home in the afternoon, we're guilty of feeding our children and grandchildren the worst stuff. I mean, it's everywhere. The Oreo's famous. The Bluebell is tasty. The drinks are sweetened. And unfortunately, we're talking about children now for just a moment. The average child, if we were to measure any exercise capability, the average child gets none. And where you and I might have used to get a good 15 minutes of vigorous somewhere exercise during the day, they're getting none. And greater than 40% of every child's diet in America is from simple sugars. Did you hear that? 40% of the American children's diet is simple sugars. And more than 1/4, listen very carefully, 1/4 of our children today have high blood pressure. 1/3 of our children have high triglyceride level. 1/2 of our children, 50% of our children have bad high cholesterol. 2/3 of our children eat too much salt. 3/4 of our children eat excess saturated fats. 70% of our children have 3 or more of those Syndrome X risk factors that are setting them in motion to cardiovascular diseases. And almost 100% of the children of America now have at least one major risk factor. So, we're not just talking about please do something. We're begging you. We are pleading with you by the standard of just somebody turn down the heat. Please don't put another lid on the pot. Please don't just say we can just cure this with a high blood pressure pill or a cholesterol pill or a uric acid pill or a diabetes pill. That is not the issue at all. We have got to come into the play. We have got to start making things more natural. We've got to pull saturated fats down to a minimum. We have got to reduce the amount of refined sugar in our kids' diets. We have got to cut back drastically on anything that contains wheat. Wheat is a major omentum fat belly builder. And all these things are going to have lifestyle changes. Yes, we've got to walk. Surely we've got to cut back on the salt. Yes, we have to hydrate. And in order to make things happen, we've got to go in there and facilitate the metabolism. We have phospholipid fat metabolisms that are lacking. We need to become vitamin C power driven. We need to have vitamin C helper effects. We need to have antioxidant effects. We need to have vitamin E activity. We need to have major free radical scavenging. We need to have protein phosphorylation factors moving along. We need the effects on the arachidonic acid metabolism. We have to have potent effects on the redox reactions. We have to influence the gene expression to a maximum degree. We have to affect calcium ion transports. Now, all that is just doctor talk. But let me tell you something. You of the Visi family have a product, the Visi Wellness Pack. 1 pack a day. I just had mine a minute ago. I take my pack every night. 1 pack a day of the Visi Wellness is going to facilitate the phospholipid metabolism. It's going to power drive the vitamin C effects and the antioxidant effects and the vitamin E activities and the free radical scavenging. It's going to make sure that the protein phosphorylation, all those things come together. All right? So put that on the table and say, please get back to business and give yourself a wellness pack every simple day. Then do take very serious note that a simple grain of sugar, the junk that's in the sugar, the junk that makes things, if it says high fructose corn syrup, or if it says corn syrup, or if it says fructose, or if it says sugar, then moderation, because people that have major medical problems, they're going to aggravate it. Asthma gets worse, mental depression mood swings, personality changes. Sugar affects that. Your nervous system will become discombobulated. You're going to feed the gut with yeast and fungi and toxic organisms. Man, we're talking about cellular mess. And when you look at all the heart disease and diabetes and gallstones and high blood pressure and arthritis, we are simply slowly killing ourselves. So let's go back to the belly fat issue. Yes, we can help our body by making lifestyle changes. Yes, we're going to decrease our saturated fats. Yes, we're going to push that simple sugar intake down. Yes, we're not going to salt our food to maximum. Your body was designed by God, the Creator, to run off of 5 parts of potassium to 2 parts of sodium. Most people today had 2 parts sodium to 1 or 0 parts potassium. Where's your potassium? It's in the Visi Wellness Pack. get up and walk a little bit. If you smoke, stop and get some nutrition going. Start learning what a good, like, glycemic low index food is. It's something that has fiber. It's called fruit. It's called vegetables. It's called protein. And make your carbs complex. A green bean, asparagus, rutabaga, squash. Make it good. And then the bottom line, what's going to turn down the heat on my stove? What's going to give me an advantage where I don't have to put another lid on the pot? Well, your Visi Wellness pack every day brings in the scenario. But now comes the clincher. A Visi weight loss capsule that's designed to hit the heat registry on your stove that's marked insulin resistance. So there you go. Visi weight loss is designed for insulin resistance. Which would you rather do? Put another lid on your pot or turn down the heat? And there you go.